fans, welcome on in. Right here today we have the new Puma evoSPEED 1.3. This is somewhat of an exclusive as we were one of the very first to get our hands on this Prism Violet colorway in the speed range from Puma. Before we do take a look at these and compare them to some other boots on the market, if you haven't subscribed before, there is a button on your screen. Definitely appreciate having you guys along for the ride, and thumbs up on the video if you enjoy it are always appreciated. Alright, up close, let's take a look at these. Obviously that Prism Violet and Fluid Yellow pops. You get that Fluid Yellow hit that runs across the side of the boot in the Puma design. Up on the forefoot of the boot, you'll notice that it has this print, this very light print that runs across both sides of the upper. It doesn't have much texture to it, so you're not going to really notice many performance characteristics or much of a performance characteristics from it. The upper itself is very smooth. It is microfiber material, synthetic material that does have that kind of like foldy, creasy feel about it. I've noticed when you slip them on, there are certain areas like right in here that actually kind of have that weird crease. So it's going to take a few wears between getting these out of the box and getting them loosened up the way you want them in game. If we go around to the outer portion of the boot, you'll notice that it features this evoSPEED cage on the outside, which is different compared to the previous model, the evoSPEED 1.2, and I want to bring that in real quick so we can take a look at the evoSPEED cage and how it existed on the previous model, and that is inside the boot. So you can see this yellow material that runs inside, and it serves as the cage, and it goes on both sides of the boot. So we compare that to the current version, which has this evoSPEED cage on the outside. This very light see-through material. It's like a plastic, and it acts as a support cage for the upper, and it's actually on both sides of the boot. And as you can see, it comes around the lacing as well, so it gives some extra strength in there on several of the laces. The other big difference with this boot is obviously that big lateral Puma hit, and inside of it, it has this Puma text. And this text actually serves a purpose, as it has some dimension to it, and it's going to help with touch and control on the ball. So that texture region that runs right across the lateral side of the boot actually serves a purpose. And again, if we look at the evoSPEED 1.2, and this is the World Cup version, so it was the one that was most recently released, it doesn't have much texture at all. It's more of a smooth material, and that is very different between both versions. Everything else on the boots is pretty standard. It's very similar. You get that external heel counter, adds good support to your heel, and then the sole plate is the same with that DuoFlex technology, conical studs, and the speed track system that runs through the midfoot to the heel. And this adds extra support again in that midfoot region. The whole concept behind it on release was that it gives extra spring back, which it definitely does. But it does mean that the boot is actually tight through the first few wears. So it's going to take a few wears to really break these in and loosen up the sole plate. I found out with previous models of the evoSPEED, and the same runs through with these ones. One other slight modification is this tongue, which now runs up around the ankle rather than the cut off in the evoSPEED 1.2. But that's about it. Everything else is very similar. This is a boot definitely geared towards players that appreciate acceleration. They weigh in at 7.4 ounces, so they are still a super lightweight option. We're sure to see more colorways released in this series as well. Something that's unusual about this boot is the fact that Puma have advertised agility as one of the keywords with the boot. We haven't seen that before in the evoSPEED series. It is unusual, but it seems that a lot of the market is headed towards agility right now. So this is a boot that you can consider if that's something that you want to factor into your choice. Two other boots before we leave that I want to compare them to, or I want to bring in alongside, is the current Vapor and current adizero release. And if you're looking at three of these boots together, the one that correlates most closely to the evoSPEED is actually the adizero, and that's because the upper on the Vapor 10 is a lot softer and it's a lot more textured, whereas the adizero is a little bit smoother and it has a synthetic feel that's similar to the Puma evoSPEED. So that's kind of where it relates to. The actual fit is very different on the evoSPEED because it does have that little bit more pointy shape to it. And if you're familiar with Puma boots, that's something that you can bear in mind when you're looking to pick up a pair. So there you have it, guys. This is the brand new Puma evoSPEED 1.3 unboxed. Before you leave, I definitely appreciate if you leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this design. If you like this new Puma hit on the lateral side. I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys have to say about these boots. I'll get involved in the conversation as always. That's it for this edition, guys. Again, I appreciate a thumbs up if you have a chance. Until next time, thanks for watching.